The level of technology we're playing with, you know? Oh my God. Mm-hmm. I'll step out of the light.
She's ready, huh?
Mm-hmm. So, where would you like to start today? I liked your illustration of the two different, like, mom. The two core versions. She can be still and relaxed and in one spot getting treats there, or we can do the short repetitions like you did out in the grass with standing, running. And then you have a bunch of versions in the still ones.
Work on a new thing with the paw on a target.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I brought some stuff from at home, but I don't really know how to do it.
Super.
Yeah.
And then I think with her laying down is definitely a good position. The exact way you...
Position.
Yeah. And exactly the way you did it yesterday, where you merge it in. So instead of starting from the behavior and starting from the topography and saying, we teach you to do this and then we add things. Mm-hmm. We start from, we are doing things with paws and body and this is nice. And then we sneak in, this is the topography that might happen. Yeah. And then you can do the more structured, teach her to put her paw in the exact same location. That you can do a bit later, because that way you back chain it in terms of once you start teaching, lay down, put your paw exactly here, she's already got the whole repertoire of, oh, there is touch and there is nails and there is food and there is an uneven number of hands, sometimes one, sometimes two, sometimes things.
We can shape the target in.
You can shape the target in, exactly. So it's like taking things, instead of doing it in a linear order of first we start with the behavior, get that solid duration, and then we gradually add things. We see from different paths if we can add a lot of the different components, and then we see can we shape in, merge in the target in that. And then maybe you'll see that, oh, actually I need this target behavior to be a little bit more fluent. Yeah. Then you do the training of the target behavior separately. Yeah. Yeah. But I prefer to do it this way because that way you have minimal or zero risk of having a very good behavior that gets punished by what we do. Yeah, yeah. So I would rather do the opposite, having very good things here, sneak in the behavior, and then refine the behavior if you need to. Because then, if you need to refine it, then you build so you have a very good behavior, but it will not be punished by the things you do because you've already done the things.
Yeah. That's what we call emotional was heißt es?
How would you say it in a sentence in German?
Also du hast es wie ein emotional Zurücksäckchen.
Because from our ABC perspective, what you're doing is that you're building all the behavior and all the stimulus control from the beginning. So
emotional cushion.
Yeah, like you're building like a cushion.
I often call it.
Yeah.
It's an emotional cushion for the dog.
Yeah.
He feels very comfortable doing all the stuff.
Yeah.
Emotional level.
Yep.
It makes a cushion. It's like we work in medical training
Yes.
all the time. We build
Yes.
the cushion, and then we can gradually introduce
all the different things. And since my brain is going in the ABC path all the time, I would call it then, it's a behavioral cushion. And it's a cushion of The whole, it's both, because we're not just, it's not like, behavior is not just the topography. Behavior is the topography, but behavior is also the stimulus control, the conditions under which it happens.
Yeah.
So we're really teaching all the hands and the things. They will become both antecedents and consequences. We want them to be cues for positive reinforcement behaviors, and we want them to be conditioned reinforcers.
Yeah.
So you're sneaking them all in, making the ABC a lot more messy
Yeah.
or a lot more complex, because you have all these tiny ABCs inside it. And then you build, I love the analogy of the cushion, because it's really what you're doing. You're building this mass of filling, you fill it with a lot of things. Nice. So what different versions do you have of, actually gotta move my camera. What different versions do you now have of the mechanics of touching feet and touching legs, touching feet, giving food? If you were to do a quick run through of, these are some different versions we've been doing.
What different?
So you have the different mechanics. So you have the one that you are doing right now, which was it hand comes and then treat comes?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to switch to.
Yeah, because now you're doing the different one where the hand stays. Love it. Best timing for moving the fingers is right before or as your elbow starts going for the treat. And best way to stop doing anything more difficult is when she gets the treat in her mouth. So you can use the hand movement getting the treat to get a little bit of an overlap, because the hand moving to the treat is also a cue to focus on and look at the treat. So we can merge, you can merge those behaviors together.
Nice.
So instead of thinking of it as a marker, think of it as a cue for looking behavior, following behavior, neck behavior. So you're putting the look, follow, neck behavior together with the feeling of your hand touching toe. She feels it, yes. Do a bit of overlap. So you start moving this, continue moving it as you go for that. So you can continue a little bit later, or start moving the treat hand a little bit earlier. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There, yes. Good. You're creative. Good.
She's too close, huh?
It's such a difference from the first reps with the touching of the paw.
Yeah.
Very good. Touching, looking, hand coming. Good. I need to move so I see what the hand is doing. If you get that little thing, take the hand off. So if you get that she does this, just stop the hand mid-air.
I didn't realize. Yeah, Ah,
Yeah.
this, yeah, this
Yeah.
little.
Yeah, and then you shift
Yeah,
to
that's
just
good
the
to
the
realize.
beginning of
Yeah, of course,
getting
of
the
course,
treat
of
from the
course.
bowl, putting it on her leg. You have that technique that you can start from.
I probably have to announce when I go to the other side.
I would rather
No.
just get the treat in the hand, give the treat at her
Ah,
paw,
first.
like you
Yeah.
started yesterday.
Yeah. So, simultaneously.
Yeah. And you can also do the very original technique where you took the treat hand and just did one hand.
Yeah.
The treat hand
Yeah.
comes, touches as you give the treat.
Yeah.
Yes. Because then you can do that again, and then you can leave the hand there, and then you can start and stop.
Yeah, and I can work with the other.
Yes. Because what should happen eventually is that you touching her foot doesn't give this jerk response, just like you touching her neck doesn't give it. So at the moment it does, and then we need to just, from my perspective, we introduce it more gradually instead of giving a warning signal for it.
Yeah.
Nice. Because it's good information for us. It tells us that that touch isn't completely relaxed yet.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. And if we get the elbow pulling down, then anything that brings the elbow forward will be helpful for us. And then it might be that we also do like, there is something in front of you, reach for this. It might be turn over to the side. So we're always ready to back off to this more elastic, bendy, turny that we had the first day. Because now her whole body is quite straight. And if you get a little bit of this, then switching to flipping her a little bit, she reaches over here, she accidentally moves into your arm. You can always bounce back to that because it loosens her up a bit, gives you more of the loose behaviors. Good, Kelly. You're getting a little bit of tension, yeah?
Yeah.
Tiny
I
bit.
see it.
Yeah. So then back up to find, okay, what are all the other techniques we can do?
Stretching.
Yeah, making stretching. Good. I love that you're observing the tension because now it's so small I can barely see it. I can see it in some of the repetitions. And if we see it, like if we do 20 treats for touching feet and 5 of them have an elbow moving and or a tension, then it's like there is tension in the session, even if it's not in every repetition. And then if we see that it just disappears over the course of the session, then okay, happy. But if we see that it's sort of, it's there, then finding totally different technique to get a session where we have none of the tension would typically be my preference, especially when fixing something that's been an issue for a while. So you can do, instead of hand touching her, what other opportunities do you have?
Offer her to gift.
That's a possibility. What other opportunities do you have? People in the audience, what other opportunities do you have to get hand in contact with leg? We can go with our hand like this, touch the leg. We can offer it and the dog can put their foot in it. What else can they do? Yeah, keep the hand still somewhere and just use foodlers so that she accidentally bumps into the foot.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. Nice. Cool. And feed over here so she goes off the hand.
Yeah.
And that also gives us a bit more bendiness. See if you can feed so that her foot actually moves away from the hand. Yeah.
Okay. So she takes it there.
Cool.
Okay. And then
And then you can turn the hand like this, so that it's laying with that side up.
Ah.
And then you can feed her over here again. See what hand and what foot ends up. There you go. Now you have foot touching hand. That, now, keep feeding for that. Very good. That's a good one. Can this hand flip in that direction, or does it have to flip in that direction? Good. So yeah, now you have touching of nails. You see it?
Yeah.
Nice. So simultaneously with this hand doing this, so touch comes, avoid touching with this side of the fingers, strive for touching with this side.
Ah, not with
Yeah.
the fingertips.
Yeah, other side. So it can go like this.
Yeah.
Good.
Not what she's used to.
No, opposite of what she's used to. And it might be that we need to move the hand because our elbows are not that bendy always. Love the moving her around sideways. That gives more variation still. Super.
You can start again.
Yeah. Cool. Because now you have contact with both feet. Beauty.
Nice. Huh?
Now you can start using this hand to give the food. That hand can stay and just hang out.
Yeah.
That hand that gives the food can give the food so that it also touches a foot while it gives the food.
Okay.
So the one hand is just hanging out down there, being in the way, and the other hand is maneuvering the food.
Try to change my hands
Yeah.
because I need to use
Yes.
both brain hemispheres.
Good. Very good. Because now we've had 20 treats without any tension and without any pulling back on elbows. Very nice.
Ja, genau.
Super. Now you're going to get a bit of coordination. Nice. So this thumb is at a later point going to go up on that foot. It will happen together with a treat going across. So it will be thumb is going that way and treat is going that way.
Right.
There you go. Cool. And then just keep the thumb where it ends up. And thumb stays. And next treat, the thumb can move a little bit more. So thumb moves together with treats. There you go. And then the thumb gets in a new place, a new place, a new place. Nice. Nice. So we're using the cue of the treat moving to help us get relaxed behavior while she feels the touch. Very nice. And take a break and do something completely different. Super. That was so good. I find that I often bounce back to this kind of build from the beginning. Whenever I see that I get a little bit of tension built in, no matter what stage I'm at, I have this as these kinds of techniques as sort of resets to really get the relaxation back. Did you feel the difference in
Very cool.
when the handling hand touches this, sort of starts moving, it touches, she sees the treat, she feels the touch, she sees the treat.
Yeah.
You feel how that helps. It's like a helping cue to, it gives her different behavior to do. So instead of she is still watching nothing, doing nothing, just feeling this.
You have movements in the body.
You have movement in the body at the same time. So you're using the treat delivery to get that movement in the body.
Yes.
And then your timing, we'll draw this inside in your flowchart later, but the timing of these, then you can make tiny, tiny adjustments. Instead of it's either simultaneous or one first and then the other, you have a lot of different possible overlaps. And then you can use them with much, much higher level of nuances.
Yeah, very, very interesting.
And then the duration of you are doing while I touching and then you get a treat, that's like much later when all of the relaxation is built.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Very good aspect. Yeah.
play with these on your own a little bit. I will try to keep quiet. If you wanna bring in also something for her to put a foot on, you can just bring that in at the same time. I'm gonna be distracting myself eating a sandwich.
At midnight, I did some training with her, just a few minutes, and she went scratching on this.
I'm not at all surprised that you did training at midnight.
You're not surprised that I have a migraine this morning.
And you can do this
My
together
plan is
with your
not working.
hands being out in the way and your hand with food touching her. So you can mix it.
Why not?
Why not? Exactly. Good practice.
This is an interesting aspect of the movement.
Yeah.
Huh? Very interesting aspect. To get rid of the fixed behavior.
Exactly.
Fixed behavior. Yeah, very
Exactly.
important. That's why we are here to learn.
Getting the looseness. Yeah, I love this. It's so cool.
It's so interesting that the dog doesn't have a look on the pulse.
Mhm.
It's
No?
a little bit.
No? He's loose, huh?
Here,
Yeah.
here.
She's completely loose now.
And then aim for making the handling hand
Yeah.
not more difficult than if she was just keeping still. Because this way we can do a lot more with the handling hand.
Yes.
And then we tend to move forward. And then we're not really building our foundations.
Yeah. Percussion.
So we can push a bit and then back off to what would she be comfortable with if you didn't have the moving hand with the food? What level would she be comfortable with if it was just her laying still waiting? And then often the hand touching like this is an easy one. The feeding on it is an easy one. The touching with both hands a little bit is an easy one. Yeah, perfect. And that way also we bounce back and forth, avoid building in any of our hand motions as a cue for tension or avoidance. And just building, we can do all the things. Super nice. It's very good. Yes. And that's really good that you do different things. It's not just the same. It's like sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that, sometimes you're just waiting for me to reach for more food. Yes, lovely. Very good. Yes, very good. Because now she feels the touch and she looks for the food. Yes, that's what you want.
Yeah.
Exactly what you want. The hand moving in and the feeling the touch is a cue to look for the food. There you go.
Great.
Very nice.
Problem gelöst hat. We don't have the problem with ticklish again.
Yeah.
Huh?
Exactly.
That's it.
So it's not a
You saw it?
it's not a tickly.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
Training.
behavior and cues and reinforcers. So cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. I would do a little bit of back pause and then just start with maybe upper hips somewhere. Just do the same thing, gently with the back pause. Have you done?
Back pause,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you done a lot of back pause laying down? Okay. So
Laying down.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
The side position. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So then we just do the same like this.
working with the sister, for she can stay there for a long time and have the eyes closed, completely relaxed when I work on the
Good.
Why?
No,
So great.
I am here.
We try to work on the hand while she's in sternal position.
Yeah. And you can do both as long as you're doing the transitions carefully. Like she can be a little bit with the front and then you can have a hand that slides to her back. So it doesn't have to be one or the other. What we want is for her to just be relaxed throughout. So in the beginning it will be easiest to have this like graduated touch moving. Eventually she will see where your hand is going and that will be her cue for what you're touching.
No matter,
Yeah. So aim for starting your first touch in a foolproof way. What has been your safest start?
That's what I did now. I thought not to touch,
Good.
just the movement in the air.
Yes,
That's
good.
what I did now.
Good.
Yeah, that was my plan.
Good.
Have a movement of the hand.
What
to the
other
towards the
options? What other options do you have now? Because now you have two hands. One is hand doing the food, and the other is doing the handling.
Yeah.
Can you
I
mix
think
them
I
up a
would
bit?
have her to look
Yeah,
so that she will not be scared
Yeah.
by touching.
yeah. Could you do the whole training with just one hand for a while?
With only one hand.
Yeah.
With the same hand.
One hand behind your back and one hand doing all the treats and things.
Okay.
Typically we want to have two hands, but to get started it can be really good to have one hand. And you can have the food in the hand all the time. And then we have to figure out how on earth am I going to feed back there. There you go. Yes. There you had first touch with zero tension.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. And then in the middle of this, you can start using the second hand to add some food if you'd like. Very nice.
Really easy. Genau wie vorne, aber it's the same thing as in the forehand.
Yeah. And even if that's not the position she's going to be in eventually, we just want to get started with the touch in the good way. And then at some point, you just let the hand stay there.
Yeah.
So first the hand goes there with food, and then you just leave the hand there, go bring more food to it. You see that you get a bit of tension with that? Okay. So don't...
Not so relaxed.
Yeah. So avoid doing empty hand from air to touch. If the hand is already on her,
I love that.
you can use it to bring more food. But to get started, I would for now use a hand with treats in it.
Yeah.
So if a hand is coming from midair and going to touch her leg, there's treats in that hand.
Yeah. So this way.
Which hand is touching?
This
Yes,
hand.
there you go. That one.
Only with one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that.
So it's clear for her where the food is.
Yes, and then you can leave the hand at the leg and use the other hand to go get more food.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that though. Yes, there you go, there you go, there you go.
It's
Good.
this is the nice check.
There you go. So now the hand is in the air and then it needs to get food before it can go back. Good. And then the hand can stay and the other hand can bring food. There you go. Yes. Then we avoid hand coming in touching.
But now the
Perfect.
hand which stays on the behind, like on the hind foot, is empty, or is there food
Yeah.
in
Empty,
there?
yeah.
Now it's empty. So it just had food for the first touch.
Yeah.
Because touching with a hand that has food in it doesn't give us a startle response. Very nice. I would stop on this. Beautiful. Very good. Cool.
Yeah, it was great.
This is so much fun.
Yeah. Thank you a lot for
That's
these
beautiful.
ideas. Yeah.
Bevor wir es vergessen, Pizza. Pizza oder irgendetwas sicher.
Ich habe Sandwich.
Aha, food orders.
Yes. Who would like to
That was very cool.
Yeah.
Nice work. Good mechanics.
I found
Impressive following of instructions mid-training.
Yeah.
And I oftentimes don't do that, like that kind of let's nuance it in the mix. But she's offering us very relaxed behavior in it, so it's also giving us some distraction and some building of other things in the same session. So
I find it interesting how stuck our mind sometimes is.
Yeah.
You did the same in the front paw and then back paw. I don't know what to do.
Yes.
It's exactly the
It's
same,
really,
yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
strange. It's,
yeah, because we have some fluent behaviors, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We have some mechanics that we're used to doing, and they will come back. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why it's good to do both standing, laying down, both front and back, like practice for ourselves in many different versions, so we generalize our own behaviors a bit, because they,
Having many other eyes looking at it, it's
Yes.
very, very helpful. Yes.
yeah. Nice training.
Ja, we spoiled.